Hey guys, there we go. Welcome to Trashy Stupid Fun. Today, let me see. I'll do this. Today, like I did last year, when I talked about two movies from my childhood that were really bad movies, and I watched them last year and they were like, ugh, they're still really bad, but really, really not one of those movies I want to revisit ever again, anytime soon. Uh, Today, I want to talk about two movies that I still really, really enjoy from my childhood, and that would be Flight of the Navigator, which is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine, Disney wise, and maybe not totally guilty, but and Teen Witch, which is today it's really a guilty pleasure of mine, but I grew up loving it. But yeah, anyways, first I'll talk about Flight of the Navigator, which I gotta say, this was one of my childhood obsessions. I would rent it a lot, and I think it would bug my parents a little bit because I rented it a lot. But the funny thing is, my brother and sister would my brother and sister would rent movies a lot, certain movies over and over again. And it would drive me crazy. So I guess it was kind of revenge after that. So I don't know. But yeah, Flight of the Navigator is just I occasionally I will put it on because I love revisiting that movie, and it's from the '80s, so it's when Disney was being really experimental, I think, and the kinds of movies they put out, and this is a big it's a I don't know what the budget was, but it was a big science fiction film for kids. It was a family science fiction film. And I can't remember the name of the kid who's the star of the movie, but it's about a boy named David who's taken by an alien craft and taken from his home in 1978 and taken to be experimented on um, is and winds up being put back right where he was taken, but 8 years later. So it's like 85. 78 when he left. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. It's about 1985. And, he's like, he tries to go back home and finds, some other family living there. And, again, that's when he finds out it's 8 years later and, he hasn't changed, because, the speed of light and everything. And at least that's the theory of everything. It's just a Disney movie, it's not meant to be taken seriously. But anyways, he finds out it's 8 years later, and his parents have grown old, and he had a brother that they kind of picked on each other. And yeah, and it's about him dealing with that, and then he eventually finds out that he was abducted by an alien craft, and because NASA gets a hold of him, and because he has all these star charts and the design of the ship in his head, so that NASA gets a hold of him and tries to do tests on him, and he eventually finds the spaceship is at the NASA hangar or whatever, and he gets on board and flies off with the ship basically because he wants to go back to his family, and. Being the '80s fan that I am, it makes me wonder, like, why would you want to go back to 1978? It's like, yeah, you'd go back to your parents and everything, but it's like, I don't know, because he's mad that Starsky and Hutch is not anymore, and it's kind of funny because he's not used to music videos, and it's a fun little culture clash at times because his favorite shows aren't on anymore, and. It's like, what are these music videos? And it's like, and at one point he's like, I hope they still have Coke or something. It's just a fun little movie. I think of it as a film, but it's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie, but it's a fun little movie that I loved watching over and over again. Another notable thing about this movie is that the spaceship named Max, it has a big long name, but the boy David shortens it to Max. Is voiced by Paul Rubens. It's an uncredited role with Paul Rubens, who does the voice of the ship. And because at certain points he switches into Pee Wee Herman mode, and it's hilarious. Because at the time, I didn't really know it was him doing the voice. I mean, I think my dad told me, but it was, but I didn't know. Because at the end, it's credited to somebody else, but it's Paul Rubens. You could tell when he's in Pee Wee Herman mode. But everything else is just like it doesn't sound a thing like him. At least not to me. I mean, I'd have to watch it again, but I just love that movie. Another notable thing is that it features a young Sarah Jessica Parker, who is this was possibly the same time she did Footloose. I mean, her hair's a little different, but I mean, it's kind of the same era that she did Footloose in. I think it's the same year or so. It's Footloose. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, there's that. Not a lot of other big name stars in this movie. There's some minor stars that you may have recognized from other movies, like something or Veronica Cartwright, I think. I think that's who it is. She plays the mom in the movie, and she was also in The Birds and Alien. I think it's Veronica Cartwright. She has a sister. She has a sister who looks a little bit like her, who is in The Sound of Music, and I could be getting their names wrong. Don't leave me a message if I am. I might be getting their names wrong. There's Nancy Cartwright too. Even though isn't that the voice of Bart Simpson? Getting my names crossed. Anyways, I just love this movie. It's one of my favorite. It was a big obsession of mine in the '80s, or growing up. Maybe not, no, a little bit in the '80s. But and I think this is the first movie I saw that had a curse word in it, or one of the first movies had cussing in it. It has one kid, one of the characters says a bad word, and I think that was the first movie I saw where somebody cussed. It's rated PG, but it's it's one little bad word, and it's a Disney movie, so it makes you wonder. But okay, now I'm going to move on to Teen Witch, which is, I don't know how many times I've watched this movie, but I would watch it on TV a lot. I think it was on HBO a lot, and we used to have HBO for a little while, and I think I watched it on there, I would rent it. I watched Teen Witch a lot, and I love it, because I picked two movies that were kind of, 80s fantasy movies. Well, that was sci-fi, but this is cute little '80s fantasy movie starring what's her name? Robin something. I can't think of her name. I can't think of her name. Robin something, and she went on to Twin Peaks and other stuff. I can't think of her name right now. Crap. I can't think of her name, but I love her. I just love this movie. It stars her as Louise Miller, who when she turns 16, before she turns 16, she runs into a psychic played by Zelda Rubinstein, who I love. Who, she's famed for being in the Poltergeist movies, and I just really like her. And she's great in this movie as Madame Serena, who tells Louise that on her 16th birthday, weird things will begin to happen, and and it turns out she's a witch. Basically, the movie's called Teen Witch, and it was supposed to be kind of like a spin-off / sequel to the Teen Wolf movies or something. But I don't know if it really worked that way. But it was. I don't think they had any sort of ties together. It's just the word teen in it, and it's kind of a musical. They have like a few songs because the movie starts off with. Never Be the Same Again, and it's just this music playing and big saxophone solo in it, and it's her. It's just basically like a little mini music video of her and the guy she likes. And I can't remember his name, but he's been in a lot of stuff too, like Son-in-Law, and he kind of resembles Tom Cruise in a way, but I just love this movie. And anyways, she finds out she's a witch, and weird things do begin to happen. She changes her brother into a dog, and makes her date disappear and stuff like that. But then, as it goes along, as she learns as she gains her power and everything, and she finds a necklace that was belonged to her in the past. 'Cause she's reincarnated, but for some reason she keeps looking like the same person apparently. Because you see a picture of her in the book and she looks the same, and that kind of cracks me up with movies. It's like I get you're supposed to be this person, but reincarnation, it means you should look different each time. But that's just me. And that's my theory on it, but whatever. That's the convention that people do in movies. And now, if you're gonna go to the past, it means that actor has to play them in the past, just to convey that this is them in the past. And having another actor would confuse people. So I get that. So never mind. I'm not going to get into that. This isn't theology 101 or anything. So yeah. Anyways. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. She finds a necklace, and that's the source of her power. And as it goes on, she wants to use her magic to get the attention of this boy she likes. And it's very Sabrina, the Teenage Witch kind of thing, or kind of, but not totally. This predates at least the Sabrina show, And anyways, she tries to use it to get his attention, and then eventually, she uses it to get popular with everybody, and it kind of backfires on her. But it all works out in the end, and spoiler alert, she gets the guy in the end, and everything's cool. But yeah, there's some great songs in this. You have the opening number, which is "Never Be the Same Again," which is a great, very 80s. I love it. I love it. If you know me, I love 80s movies. I love cheesy 80s movies, and this is one of my favorites growing up. I just love this movie. Okay, so you have "Never Be the Same Again," and then you have most popular girl, or going to be the most popular, the most popular girl song, and you also have a couple random. You have one random song with these rapper guys singing in the hallway, and that's, I don't know, that's not really a big number. And then you have a big number a big number by the cheerleaders and everything called "I Like Boys," and they're just singing around in the locker room and fooling around, messing around, and just everything. It's a fun silly number. It's so fun. I think that's one of my favorite performances. Just them goofing off in the locker room. It's funny. And then you have "My Finest Hour," which is at the end, where I won't give everything. I don't want to give everything away. You gotta find this movie. It's fun. It's a fun little movie. But yeah, "My Finest Hour" is a great song. I think that's it. I think that's all the songs. And it's a fantasy slash musical teen comedy sort of thing, and I just love it. It's not the most original movie, I guess, but it's a fun movie. I love it. Oh, another fun thing about this movie is that it stars Dick Sargent as her father, which if you know Bewitched, he was the second Darren, which he's not everybody's favorite, but I like that he's her father in this movie. It's kind of funny, and yeah, I think that's the only notable things about this movie is that him and Zelda Rubinstein, who I love Zelda Rubinstein in this movie. She's her character of Madame Serena is just very dramatic and very, very silly. It's kind of self-centered at times, but it's funny. So yeah, these two movies are very dear to me, and I revisit them at least once or twice a year, once a year at least. That these two, and I may have to do another episode like this because I wouldn't mind talking about the Neverending Story because I have so many. That might be an episode onto itself if I talk about the Neverending Story because that movie is very, very dear to me. It's not the best adaptation ever, though. I'm still waiting for a really good, full-on adaptation of Neverending Story, but I don't know if it'll ever happen. I'm kind of hoping that with stuff like Lord of the Rings, that maybe it could happen. With the way the technology is right now, they could do a pretty more faithful adaptation. But I don't know, it'd be a long movie. It'd almost have to be for television, but I don't know. there were talks of a remake for a while with Tom Cruise, but I don't know. I mean, him working on it somehow. I don't know, but yeah, yeah. I could do a really long episode of all the '80s movies I love because I keep finding new ones that I kind of latch onto, and I have tons I've seen already in my lifetime. So yeah, well, I don't know. That might be a really long episode if I try to do that. I may do that though. I may do a top 5 '80s films, maybe top 10. I don't know. I don't know how long you guys want me to babble on for. My last episode was almost half hour, at 26 or so minutes, and I apologize for that because I really wanted to talk about Troll 2. So, anyways, until next time.